Do your thing.
Hello and welcome to Final Fantasy Theory. I'm Baron Strife, and today we're tackling a type of theory I'm going to be adding into my videos, the what if theories. These theories, as their name implies, are what if scenarios that I think would happen if something had changed in the story, and today I'm going to kick it off with, what if Weapon had been allowed to try and defeat Sephiroth? Before we begin, I want to thank everyone for watching and subscribing. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Why don't you hit that subscribe button? Make sure to watch to the end so you can answer my Final Fantasy trivia question to see if you're a true Final Fantasy master. So who is greater, Sephiroth or Weapon? I know the first instinct is, Sephiroth wins hands down. He is powerful, but could he actually beat all of the weapons? Let's examine the abilities of each weapon and then look at Sephiroth and see how they match up. In his final, safer Sephiroth form, he's pretty unbeatable. I don't think anyone can deny that. And we will compare this form versus weapon, but let's examine him at his first class soldier level of power first. This form is still strong, and it's the level of power he had through most of the game until the end when he absorbed the last bit of Jenova and the lifestream. Starting with Sapphire weapon, it was the weakest of them. Its main attack, from what the game shows, is just an energy beam. The strength of this weapon revolves around its impenetrable defense, but in order to attack, it has to make itself vulnerable. Sephiroth would have been able to easily dispatch Sapphire once it made itself vulnerable. I give this victory to Sephiroth. The next weapon is Diamond Weapon, and it is very powerful and personally my favorite. Its Diamond Flash would be difficult to avoid. I believe Sephiroth would have struggled against Diamond, but I also believe he ultimately would have beaten him. As powerful as Diamond was, it lacked the endurance of the other weapons. After all, Cloud and company defeated the weapon easily, even though Rufus is the one who finishes it. Once again, I give this victory to Sephiroth. Many would say Ruby is the strongest, and Sephiroth couldn't possibly win. But Ruby Weapon's power lies in its ability to randomly remove two party members. This power is nullified if there's only one person. Ruby Weapon also only attacks with Ultima if Knights of the Round is used, so its remaining attacks, Ruby Flame, Ruby Beam, and Shadow Flare, would be of little issue to the mighty Sephiroth. The only defensive advantage it has is that it absorbs fire and has a high physical and magical defense, but it crumbles against summons. I give this victory to first class soldier Sephiroth. Just a reminder, right now it's just first class soldier Sephiroth in comparison to the weapons. So for this next one, the mighty Emerald, I must say that he is truly the strongest of all the weapons. While it is in the ocean, there's no reason Emerald couldn't travel above the ocean and attack if needed. Nothing indicates that it couldn't go on land, and it wouldn't make sense that the planet would create a weapon that can only be in the water, as all weapon was created in response to Jenova. Time for a little controversy. I believe that Emerald would have defeated the first class soldier version of Sephiroth. Emerald Weapon has a trump move that can't be avoided, Air Tam Storm, or Materia Storm. For those of you that don't know, Air Tam is materia backwards. This powerful move does 1,111 damage per materia equipped. For those of you who checked out Sephiroth's equipment during the flashback sequence, you would know that Sephiroth has well over 9 materia equipped. This attack would have killed first class soldier Sephiroth. I give this victory to the mighty Emerald Weapon. The last weapon is Ultimate Weapon. It is very strong and fast. It has many techniques, and its ability to fly makes it harder to track. Despite these abilities, I do believe Sephiroth would have been able to defeat the weapon. However, I also believe he would have been severely wounded, if not killed, fighting it as well. When Ultimate Weapon does die, it explodes so badly that the landscape of the planet itself is altered. I think Sephiroth would get caught by the blast and likely killed. I give this a stalemate. First class soldier Sephiroth ranks pretty well. He's able to defeat 3 out of 5 for sure, and he will die from 2. But of those two that he dies from, he's able to take one of them with him. Now let's move on to Safer Sephiroth and how that might work. But before we get to that, if you're liking the video, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. Now we're going into the true what-if part of the theory. I believe if enough time had been allowed for Weapon to organize, they would have all gathered and went to the crater to defeat Sephiroth, or would have waited until he came out. In any case, they would have all been gathered to fight him together. Safer Sephiroth is significantly more powerful, and with the amount of damage he was going to cause from his magic and his meteor spell, there would have been enough people killed that Omega Weapon would finally make an appearance. It would have begun its process to save the planet while the other weapons attack Sephiroth. All of the weapons attacking at once would be devastating to Safer Sephiroth because they are so powerful. But because his strength is also increased so much, it's easy to say that he would completely devastate Sapphire as if he was like a child. And he would wipe out Diamond. Ruby Weapon would be able to hold up a little bit of a fight, but ultimately Ruby would have been obliterated as well. Now I do think that even though those three weapons would be easily destroyed by Sephiroth, I do think that they would be able to do significant harm to him. I think the part that would become super difficult for Sephiroth would be Emerald and Ultimate working together. Materia Storm would no longer be effective against Sephiroth. He had absorbed so much of the Ancient's knowledge from the Lifestream that he wouldn't need Materia. Emerald Weapon would still have his 8 individual beams and his Emerald Beam, combined with Ultimate Weapon's powerful attacks, would be quite the challenge for him. I think the onslaught and barrage from Emerald Weapon and Ultimate Weapon's attacks would keep Sephiroth busy long enough for Omega to finish its job and pull the Lifestream from the planet, and so it could escape into the cosmos. Sephiroth would then defeat Emerald and Ultimate Weapon, but with the Lifestream gone, Sephiroth would no longer be able to absorb any more of the Lifestream, and it's possible not be able to use the Husk of Gaia to sail the cosmos. I can't say for sure that Sephiroth would be unable to use the planet to travel the cosmos and search for another world, but I do believe it is safe to say that Sephiroth would be unable to completely win, and he would just be left on a dead planet with nothing but the husks of the dead weapons around him. Alright, well tell me what you think would have happened with Sephiroth fighting Weapon. If there's any other what-if scenarios you've wondered, drop them down below in the comments and I might do a video on it. If you like this video, please hit that like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. For my next video, I'm actually going to do a reaction to the Final Fantasy XVI trailer. And finally, for that trivia question, what does the shield spell do in Final Fantasy VII? Put your answers down below. I'll give you the answer when I do my next video. Thanks for watching.